a member for 3 years. He has done lots of speeches and table topics. He has written several books and done many webinars. It's also handwritten. With his speech, "I don't need Toastmasters," he will tell you why that is or is not true. Let's all give a warm welcome for Toastmaster Tim Taylor.
I don't need Toastmasters. I'm a good speaker. I don't need Toastmasters. These were the thoughts running through my head the day I drove here for my first meeting. I've spoken at lots of events. People tell me I'm a natural speaker. I can speak off the cuff. I've written a best-selling book about starting a new business. I don't need Toastmasters, man. No way. In 2017, I was in Oviedo at a leads group. I was asked to lead the group that day, so I got up and led the group. And there was an older gentleman in the audience. His name was Tim Rickey. He came up to me afterwards and said, "Hey, you ought to join our Toastmasters group. You're fairly good." So I said, "Fairly good, okay. Sure, I'll join your little group. What's it all about?" I came to your thinking, I got this, man. I can speak circles around most people that I know. I came into this illustrious room that used to be right across the hall. Then I heard my first speaker. I don't remember who he was, but the more he spoke, the smaller I felt. He was good. He was really good. And everyone else that day that spoke was also really good. Table topics? What is that? When they call on me, I'm going to crawl under the table. I actually thought they were going to call on me that day. And it was the first time I visited. I was praying that they didn't. And you have to say something off the top of your head, make it memorable, make it funny, make it engaging. Everyone's also going to vote and they're going to review your speech in front of everyone. Who are these people? I can't do this. But I swallowed my pride and I filled out my application that first day. When I was formally introduced into the group the next week, I'm sitting there, there was at least 50 people in the room. It was packed. Suddenly the lady doing table topics looks right at me and she said, "Give a speech about using the letter T as much as you can." And she looked at me and she said, "Tim Taylor." And I literally looked at her and I said, "You're kidding, right?" She said, "No, you're up." I didn't know one person in this room except for Tim Rickey, which I barely knew. I knew Garen a tiny bit. We'd been in a leads group for a little while. To my absolute shock, I was able to get up and stumble through it. And to my total amazement, I actually won table topics that day. And Ty Patton, I'll never forget, came up to me after the meeting. He goes, "I've been in this group 25 years. I think that's right. And I can count on one hand the number of people that have won table topics the first time they did it." So I said, "Hey, folks, I got this." Boy, did I feel good after that. I thought I was a good speaker. Then suddenly I started watching people like Mark Ehlers, Jordan Kamaker, Carmelo, Jeff Rufinot, one of my favorites. I wish he would come back. Blake Smith, Carson Schaefer, Catherine Mosier Boulay. I love saying that name. Doesn't it sound like, it sounds like a sexy French dessert, doesn't it? And it couldn't go to a lovelier person. Boy, did I have a lot to learn. I had an enormous amount to learn. After several speeches, I'd improved a little bit. And one day I was sitting at a lunch with Carson Schaefer and I got an email and it said, this was from a company of a product that I sell. They said, "We're having a conference. Would you go to the conference and speak for us? We'd like to have somebody that uses the product at the conference. Would you speak?" So I told Carson about it. I actually wrote the guy, I said, "Sure, I'll speak at one of your conferences." And then they sent me a list of all the other cities the conference was going to be in. And they said, "Would you speak? You can speak at any of the rest of them that you want." And I wrote him back and I said, sure, I'll speak at one of them. Carson looks at me and he goes, are you kidding? You're going to write him back right now and you're going to speak at every one of them.
Thanks.
Every one. These are all IT people that are going to be in the audience, and you've written a book about running an IT company. This is a free book tour. You cannot turn this down. I said, Carson, I can't speak that well. I'm just learning how to do it. And Carson looks at me and he says, I don't care. You're going to do it. I said, I'm too busy. He goes, I don't care. I haven't given enough speeches yet. He says, don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You're going to do it. You're going to speak. You're going to travel around the country. You're going to promote your book. You're going to use what you learned in Toastmasters to get new business and bring it into your company. And what had I learned about Toastmasters? Well, all that to say, yes, I signed up. In the next 9 months, I spoke in 8 cities around the country. They flew me around for free. They didn't pay me, but they paid all my expenses. And if I wanted to bring my wife, she could stay in my room. I just had to pay for her plane fare. They paid for all of our food and everything else. So what I learned in this group helped me immensely in those speeches. But my first speech, I'll never forget. One of the things I've learned in Toastmasters, the way to beat your nervousness is always be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared for your speech. You will not be nervous if you know your speech when you get up there. Another thing is don't expect to be perfect. You will not be perfect. You have to accept the fact that you're not perfect. And if you get upset about that during your speech and you realize you forgot something, it makes you more nervous and it makes your speech go bad. And then lastly, you got to speak from the heart and be genuine. People can tell if you're not being genuine, and they can tell if you are being genuine. And the minute you're not genuine, your speech starts going downhill really quickly. And also, if you're not genuine, after the meeting, John Nuccitelli walks up to you and he goes, where was Tim today? How many people has that happened to? Many of us. So I learned to be genuine when I was on the road. I learned to speak well. Every trip I went on, I sold every book that I bought. I had tons of people sign up for my consulting. I had a free book tour because Carson Schaefer said, I don't care. When I said I couldn't do it, he said, no, you're going to go do it. And you're going to represent this club and you're going to do a great job. So I don't need Toastmasters, right? You don't need Toastmasters either, unless you want to be more confident in public. You want to be more successful in your life. And you want to make some more lifelong friends. And that, my friends, is why I am a Winter Park Toastmaster. Thank you very much.
I was so tempted to ask that. Thank you, Carson, for taking that from me.